This is an ABC News special. The Iran Crisis. America held hostage. Day 58.
No one will easily forget how the 80s began. American hostages in Iran gave birth to a national mania and a television program that reminded us nightly of our plight. America held hostage. Americans were shocked and angered. How could a third world country headed by a religious fanatic bring a superpower to its knees? Why couldn't we just get them out? We found that it was a very complicated affair, and that terrorism has many faces. On November 4th, 1979, student radicals seized the U.S. Embassy in Tehran, taking over 60 Americans hostage. Ayatollah Khomeini, Iran's fundamental Muslim leader, refuses to release the Americans. Like most momentous events, the hostage crisis has its roots in history. Our involvement began with this man, the Shah of Iran, when CIA helped stage a coup d'etat and place Mohammad Reza Pahlavi on the throne. For 37 years, the Shah kept Iran staunchly in the Western political orbit and relentlessly modernized his oil-rich country. Internal dissent was quelled in the streets and in the torture chambers by Savak, the Shah's secret police. Happy to have an anti-communist policeman in the vital oil center of the Persian Gulf, successive U.S. governments overlooked Iran's growing internal dissent.
Iran, because of the great leadership of the Shah, is an island of stability in one of the more troubled areas of the world.
But that was changing fast. By late 1978, Iranians were no longer tolerating the Shah's excesses. Demonstrators were shot in the streets. More and more protesters waved pictures of Shah's most powerful enemy. In France, Khomeini was a virtual government in exile, fueling the religious revolution at home.
Oh, my people, do not hesitate. You have the power. Do not be afraid of these superpowers.
Realizing that he had lost his grip on his country, the Shah and his family fled. On February 1st, 1979, Khomeini returned to a tumultuous, emotional welcome. The country was his. In October, against the strong advice of the State Department, President Carter allowed the Shah to enter the country for cancer treatment. That was all the fuel the student radicals in Tehran needed.
The U.S. Embassy in Tehran has been invaded and occupied by Iranian students. The Americans inside have been taken prisoner. According to a student spokesman, will be held as hostages until the deposed Shah is returned from the United States.
While the Iranians burned an American flag in front of the embassy, they said the takeover had the express blessing of the Ayatollah Khomeini. In return for their American hostages' freedom, they're demanding the United States give up the deposed Shah of Iran from his hospital bed in New York.
Aside from wanting the Shah back, the militants demanded the return of his vast wealth, admission that the United States had harmed Iran, and an agreement not to intervene in its internal affairs. The demands were unacceptable to Washington. The hostages were caught in the middle of a dangerous political game. All they could do was wait.